Hi, I'm Dave Mulvey, and welcome to our 10 tips on how to tackle your cybersecurity within the cloud. We're now on tip number 5, and today what we're going to discuss is deploying an endpoint detection and response application, or short for EDR. So why do you need EDR software? Well, the hackers today, the cyber criminals today, have recognized that almost all PCs universally have antivirus. So gone are the days of a hacker trying to take a piece of malicious software and actually load it on your PC. If they take a file and load it on your PC, chances are high the antivirus software will recognize it and immediately quarantine it. And of course, if the payload has been quarantined, the cyber criminal has no advantage. So the cyber criminals have shifted from trying to load software or files onto your workstation. Now they're working on, and very cleverly through email, are trying to trick your employees to click on files. In other words, the file is in email. It never got on your employee's PC. It never got to a spot where antivirus could quarantine it. So they'll send an email saying, hey, check out the most recent invoice we've sent you, or hey, following up on a UPS shipment you just received, click here. And your employee clicks on one of these techniques, and the minute they click on it, a macro is launched and starts running in the CPU of the target PC. So the minute the cyber criminal can get some bad code, some malicious code running on your PC, they've automatically bypassed antivirus. Well, frankly, that's the reason why EDR software has been invented. EDR software's purpose is to always scan all the processes that your CPU is running in memory. And you can take a look at this yourself. If you ever do a command, control command delete and click on tasks, and click on processes, you'll see your PC is probably running 50, 100, 150 processes at any given time. But none of those processes are actually on the disk. They're running in memory, and your CPU is taking over there. So this is where EDR works. Antivirus works at the file and disk level, and EDR runs at in the memory and in the process level of your computer. So let's take a closer look at really what EDR is and how it works. So what's the E in EDR? Well, the E in EDR stands for endpoint. So what's an endpoint? An endpoint is a PC, a laptop, a tablet, even your server. Endpoints have CPUs in them, and they're running processes. So the E in EDR is simply standing for the device itself that the software is going to be running on. So the next letter in the chain here of EDR, D, stands for detection. So after you've loaded EDR software on your endpoint, then we have to turn on its blocking mode and have it start looking for or trying to detect when there's a malicious processing running. And what EDR software will do is it will detect or discover a bad process, and then we've programmed it to automatically send a service ticket into our security operations center. So we have a human 24 hours a day waiting for those tickets to see what's going on your PC whenever EDR fires off something. Now, sometimes EDR can be tricked. And when it detects something that might be a false positive, just simply a process it never saw before, but it occasionally in your PC is running and it's okay. In which case, our engineers will whitelist that process in EDR and never fire off on it again. But sometimes during the detection phase, there is really something bad that happens. So when that happens and something is detected that's bad, the R in EDR stands for response. And so what does EDR software respond with, or how does it handle things? Well, what it does is it will immediately kill the process. It will quarantine the process, and then it'll take a look at your PC and determine, hey, was anything manipulated? Were any files encrypted, or was any other software spawned from this process? And if it did, it can not only respond by doing the quarantine and stopping the process, but it's even set up such that it can roll back your PC to whatever state it was in before the malicious code started running. So kind of in a nutshell, that's what EDR is. That's why it's important today. It's just a critical component in security now for modern IT for a small business. And here's what's cool. When you order Microsoft 365 Business Premium or E3 or E5, you get from Microsoft automatically within the subscription a very good EDR program. Microsoft calls it Microsoft 365 Defender. Here at AMP, we not only rely on 365 Defender, but for technical reasons, we also implement another EDR product on all our clients' PCs and servers called SentinelOne. And SentinelOne is a unique product designed for managed service providers like AMP, where we can deploy the EDR software at scale and then manage it in a single portal. Where Defender from Microsoft is really managed on a client-by-client basis. So in order for AMP to get the scale that we need when we're monitoring hundreds of customers and thousands of PCs, we're using SentinelOne. But we're still receiving the signals from Microsoft 365 Defender as well as SentinelOne. They both have their sweet spots, and it's kind of interesting for us to see what Defender will detect and what SentinelOne will detect. But the key here is really having good coverage on the processes running on your PC. So I would ask you as a business owner, you probably have an IT service provider right now. Are you relying solely on old school antivirus? If you are, I would highly recommend, and this is one of our tips now, is to really take a look at spending the money and implementing an EDR product. So why don't you ask your service provider, if you are one of those companies just using antivirus, hey, service provider, why aren't we using EDR? What's going on? What's your thinking here? And why do you think my company doesn't need EDR when Microsoft's automatically offering it within their old suite of products for a small business owner? So that's it for tip number 5. Hey, I'm going to see you right back here for tip number 6. Again, hey, I'm Dave Mulvey with AMP, and if you like this video, boy, I sure hope you'll subscribe to our channel or give this video a thumbs up. Hey, I hope you have a great day and really appreciate you watching. Thanks so much. Take care.